Um, for my final video, I just wanted to kind of touch on a few different things that kind of really hit me, probably the most important things over the course of the quarter. I think first and foremost, the most shocking thing to me is that, working with deaf-blind folks and, doing our PT hours and all that, was not nearly as scary as I thought it was going to be. I mean, of course, it was, a little bit scary because, didn't know what we were doing, and yeah, kind of rough at first. But beyond that, I think it's been pretty good. You know, probably the next thing that really hit home to me was the fact that many of these deafblind people have really had all, if not almost all of their autonomy stripped away from them, which we don't really think about in our day-to-day lives. But not being able to go to the store or just take a walk down the street sometimes, we're very privileged, and a lot of times they have that taken away from them. One of the main things that sticks out to me is when we were talking about CBEC, and the actual role of an SSP is to kind of provide a way for a deafblind person to regain some of that autonomy. It was either CM or Kylie, I believe, used an example of a deafblind person attending CBEC when normally they spent their days like in a nursing home with little to no sign or any interaction really, so in a situation like that being presented to them can really get them going, and really provide some of that access to some of that autonomy, I suppose. Next, until taking this class, the whole idea of a deaf-blind person, for whatever reason, in my mind, I thought, they were fully deaf and fully blind. There's not really any in between, right? Obviously, we've learned that's far from the truth, and, there are varying levels of deaf-blindness, and everybody, who is in that situation has had their own path to arriving where they're at, their own story. Definitely some struggles along the way, I'm sure. Next thing, I guess, I kind of just wanted to let you guys know of one of the first SSP interactions that I had, and it kind of stuck out to me. When we went to the WSDBC meeting, it was me, Sean, and Alex, and we were paired with our match, and he decided he wanted to go to Trader Joe's to get some lunch. We went and did that. There was some little struggles here and there. And then we finished up, and then he wanted to go across the street to Shell to get some vitamin water. We let him over there. He got his vitamin water. Wanted some ice cream. Tried to find him ice cream, couldn't. He was kind of throwing some ice cream around, and I could already tell at that point, like, the gas station attendant was not too keen on our presence being there. Who cares? Anyway, we grab a newspaper and go and go to pay. So our match, he holds his hand out so that he can do print on palm, and figure out how much he's supposed to pay the guy. The guy behind the counter is a really old and really grumpy, not a friendly guy, and he just stands there and he's looking at him, just looking, and he just doesn't want anything to do with it. And so our match is doing this, and he's like, fine, asked me to tell him how much he's got to pay. I tell him. He starts digging around in his fanny pack. He pulls out a couple dollars. Again, holds them out for him to take, and the guy, he just won't take his money. He's just like, totally hands off. And so our match starts to get noticeably frustrated, as expected, I guess. And then he starts digging around for some quarters, puts a couple more dollars on the counter in quarters, and then he asks me, how much is left? How much do I owe him? I tell him about 75 cents. So he gets the other 3 quarters and he just tosses them over the counter. doesn't even hit the counter, goes straight to the floor, and then he starts telling the attendant that he's rude for not taking his money or trying to work with him. And in that moment, I was like, okay, this is what they meant about deaf-blind people. Sometimes they have their autonomy, and they can be rude if they feel the need to be rude. And as an SSP, you just gotta sit back and observe, and just take it as it is. Anyway, guys, have a great spring break.